Just 2 or 3 more things. Pope John Paul, when he was in Limerick, he said, now is the time of testing for Ireland. This generation is once more a generation of decision. You see, he saw the short-term shareholder value. He saw the Nietzsche. He saw the consumerism. He saw the silent voices calling the individual transcendent person away from that. And he said, what I said at the beginning, what do you want? And one of the great thinkers of the last century put it this way: a civilization in decline digs its own grave with relentless consistency. It cannot be argued out of its destructive way. That's the lesson of history. A civilization in decline digs its own grave with relentless consistency. Okay, last 2. This is one way forward. When I look at, when I see at the country at the moment, I see a country, and I've shown you the data earlier, and I've gone into the background, and this is my take on it, but I respect that you may have a different take. I see a country without trust, lacking confidence in itself, and its policies lacking credibility. You don't need a degree in economics, you only need common sense. I see the person marginalized by a culture of command and control and legislation, as if more regulation is going to solve our problems, as if there's a shortage of regulation, as if anybody has time to read regulation. I see the family emasculated. The family. Think about what Kathy said earlier, that constituent. Think about the numbers in Cork County, Cork City, the black spots in the country. Where do your kids go when they're in negative equity? Where do they go when they lose the job and they're completely shattered? Where do they go to rebuild? They go to the family. The family has been emasculated, and the data is there to prove it. And it's not just my view. One of the most eminent economists on the Financial Times, Martin Wolf, wrote a very long piece about a year or so ago. Kathy's very fine team will give it to you. It's called The War on the Traditional Family. That's not in Ireland, but we ape the UK. That's Martin Wolf of the Financial Times. We have emasculated the family. The family is the ultimate shock absorber. It's where your kids learn to cope, to be generous, to understand the embryonic idea of the common good. That's what I see. I see land that's set aside. I see basic freedoms. You know, I would be a little bit worried about this as a political economist. If I saw 500,000 people, many of them bright people, who are bewildered about how and why this has happened, you know, I would worry about our basic freedoms. We are on the way towards a situation which may begin to run out of control. And in case anybody thinks that's an exaggeration, think about the Balkans at the end of, 10, 12, 15 years ago. There's a certain urgency about this. And I think about Irish business. I want to come back to this. And if anybody's here from the Cork County Council, I want to say this openly. Our businesses are suffocating. God knows a lot of them have gone to the wall. And they've gone to the wall because the government and the budget didn't recognise that there is an adjustment process already happening, that households are deleveraging and running down and trying to rebuild savings. They didn't realise that businesses themselves are cutting costs ferociously just to exist. Now, really they should have gone with the grain of that adjustment. They should have recognised it and supported it. I don't see an awful lot in the budget that did that. Irish businesses are being suffocated by meaningless, onerous nonsense by people who really have never... I've never run a business, and God knows I wouldn't want to. I'd be able to. But I'm grateful for those who do. I'm grateful for the people who worry, the people who agonise about decisions. Do I let 2 people go, or what will happen to them? How do I talk to my bank manager the next day? Sitting around the kitchen table talking to the wife or husband. Our councils and our governments don't understand the pressures that businesses are. The Netherlands have a unit in the Prime Minister's office. You know what to do? Every year, 10% of regulations got to go. 10% of regulations got to go. The county council, I know they're doing lots of good things, but they should really look at whether you need a 25-page questionnaire to set up a small business. This is utter nonsense. It technically is called rent-seeking, and it is suffocating Irish businesses and their capacity to survive. Even if you didn't give them anything else, look rigorously at what you're requiring of them. Look rigorously at the people who come and look over their shoulder and presume to tell them what to do, but have never run a business in their life. And ask this question, which, Kathy, is a hard question, and I'm almost reluctant to say it, but it's part of responsibility. How many people around the cabinet table who are good and caring people, and I know and respect them, how many of them have run a business? And equally, if our future is in a knowledge economy, how many scientists and technologists are sitting around the cabinet table? There are so many lines that are not joined up. There's so much we could do without money. So much we could do. There are so many good things happening, like, for example, young entrepreneur. But all of the good stuff that will be talked about here this afternoon, the linkage with the third level sector, the young scientists, what's going on in schools, how can this succeed if we don't have a vision of the kind of society we want, if we don't recapture the idea of the common good? Okay, last slide. The way forward. Empowering the family and communities in Ireland and the EU. Maintaining jobs and incomes is the priority. Look, guys, the banks are important. We've had the credit deposit scheme. We've had recapitalisation. The priority now, in the interest, incidentally, of the banks themselves, is to support businesses and households through this. Businesses spend money. Businesses employ people. The priority now in the budget should be to support businesses that are trying to survive, not to be supporting that indirectly by banks that are driven still by the same kind of model. Banking and regulatory transformation I won't go into. I know your colleagues will talk later about healthcare. Healthcare is a classic example, very expensive. It is suppressed by regulations and metrics and so on and so forth. And I know a little bit about it, directly and indirectly. We need a one-tier system. We need equality for all people. It's a disgrace that people are still on trolleys. We didn't attend to it during the good times. We have no choice but to attend to it now. And that has to be part of the new politics. Removing this, what I can only call status burdens on businesses, incentivizing young entrepreneurs, looking at the public services, leadership, the necessary transition to a wholly new politics based not on power, but on the common good, and based on service to the person. So, God be with you this afternoon.